BTMreview.com here with the Retro Rampage podcast. I'm Aaron and I got Zach here, as usual. What's up, dude?
Nothing much.
Besides the fact that it's October and we're getting to be the best time of year, that's Halloween. So it makes me want to do a lot of things Halloween. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time watching horror movies, and I definitely up that ante during this month. I try and watch a movie every night. If work and time permits, I like to have marathons, and even in video games, if I find time to play a game, I want to play a horror game. I want to play scary games, and even with this podcast, everything I do, I want to make, horror themed. And, BTMreview.com, we host a few podcasts, and we definitely celebrate with all of them. And just our kind of a regular podcast, too. It seems like every year we're always doing something Halloween themed, some sort of like Halloween just centered episode where we focus on a movie or something. Or this year, I hope we can do a commentary or two. Yeah. That's what I really... Even though we've done horror, I know we've done horror commentaries, but I don't know. It's any excuse to do more is great. But anyway, so the game podcast, this Retro Rampage, isn't really any different. So I want them to be fun, and I'm not saying they have to be horror themed for your case, Zach, but for me, with these topics that I have in mind, I go straight to horror. And the main topic of this particular segment is biggest twists in games. And like I said, I gravitate towards horror just because those plot lines tend to have a lot of those, Mm-hmm. But they don't necessarily have to be. I don't think you're going to find any twists in Grand Theft Auto. You might. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, thinking back, one twist of mine that always sticks out, and I'm not saying the game is fantastic, but there's something great about the game, though. I just don't think it ages very well, but Clock Tower.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about the PlayStation Clock Tower. And it's obviously the killer reveal. The thing is when I was a kid, I didn't see it coming.
I don't even remember it. I'm not sure if I played the PlayStation Clock Tower.
You didn't? Which ones did you play?
I played the one that was only
Super
released
Nintendo?
in Japan. Yeah, the Super Nintendo. And I started playing the second one, and I hated it, and I never finished it.
The Sega one? What are we talking about here?
The second one. The one with
the second one. Oh,
yeah.
They said the Sega. You hated it? I didn't play the second one.
It was like that one with it had like a girl, like a little girl as a female, like as the main character.
Well,
all I remember about it was like the beginning. There was like a doll that was alive or something.
Well, the main character is a girl in the PlayStation first one as well.
Oh yeah, but she was a little girl.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so I've never played the Japanese one, but I do know that the stories are linked between that and the PlayStation one. I think I've watched some YouTube videos on it too, and I think they're a continuation of each other. I don't think it's like a remake situation. But anyway, so
it's a sequel. Yeah.
Is it a legit sequel?
Yeah, it's got the same girl in it. From the first one.
Yeah, because it starts off. Oh, that's right, because there's that little boy, and it's like the PlayStation one is the aftermath of the SNES Japanese one, right?
Yeah.
So, because when the first one starts out, there's that boy that's in like therapy and he's not talking because he just witnessed the events of the first game that you're talking about.
Yeah, I played that one. I never finished it, so I don't know what the twist was.
So in the first game, there was the Scissor Man, and I guess the girl was a part of it, and so was this boy. So yeah, that's right. The first game just sort of picks up off of that. Anyway, like I said, now as an adult, I look at it and I'm like, I should have saw this a fucking mile away. But it's still pretty cool. Like I said, the game's not perfect, but Scissor Man was scary just for those moments where he's coming, and it's 2D, so it's like, where am I gonna hide? If it was a three-dimensional world, it'd be no fucking problem to hide. Like, well, I'll go, but no, I can only go left or right. But no, so the little boy that was in the first game, the Super Nintendo one, he's the killer. The little child. So when you're playing the game, and it starts off, you're this you're this woman, and this boy is kind of the center focus. He was in the first game, and his whole family or whatever was murdered. But yeah, whatever. Turns out he did it, and he was the killer. He was Scissor Man, and he's Scissor Man in this game. I don't know. I guess it's like Scissor Man walks with like a hunch or whatever. I mean, you just assume it's like some old man, but really it's this little kid This little kid is holding these giant ass shears that look like they weigh 500 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, that kind of surprised me as well, and it still kind of sticks with me because there's not a whole lot of games that sort of are played out like movies like that. I know we have cinematic games. I know that's real popular these days with your, Uncharted and stuff. But like, I don't know, man. It was different. I don't know. Those like that played out like a real horror movie from like the 80s or something where.
Yeah, that's one I should go back and find and play through.
It was a classic trope, kind of like Friday the 13th, where it was really Jason's mom, with the switcheroo. So that was one. Did you have one? We can go back and forth.
Like one that comes to mind is Silent Hill 2.
Mm-hmm. And this actually all of them, man. Silent Hill 1 as well.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 is classic. But yeah, all those are.
Yep. Silent Hill 2 is the one I always remember. And like, you said you still haven't played Silent Hill 3, right?
Oh, no, I never played Silent Hill 3 or The Room.
Do you know anything about the story of Silent Hill 3?
Sorta. Why don't you brief me on it?
It's a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1.
Okay. Is she like the wife of Harry Mason?
Well, that's kind of a spoiler, actually.
Okay, don't give me a spoiler. Don't give me a spoiler. Fuck.
Dang it.
She's the Bruce Jenner transgendered Harry Mason.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, like in part 2 where you find out that, should we talk about it? The ending of part 2?
I mean, I just blew the ending to fucking Clock Tower.
Well, you find out
these games are like 2 decades old.
Yeah,
fucking people.
Well, you find out. I didn't want to do the third one though, since you haven't played it. But the second one.
Tell you what, if it's gonna affect the third one at all, then maybe kind of sidestep it.
Yeah. You remember it? Where you watched the videotape?
It's been it's been a very fucking long time, man. It's funny though because I remember the first one so much better. I don't know why, because I played the second one a lot later. The first one though, I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know everybody loves the second one. I think the second one, everybody thinks the second one's the best. I think the first one and the second one are equally effective. I don't know why the second one's so much more.
I like all of them pretty much. Like I even like Homecoming. Did you ever play Homecoming for the?
Is that the remake of the first one?
No, it's basically like whenever
PSP,
they made
though.
the the PSP one's called Silent Hill Origins, and it's actually a prequel. It's called Silent Hill 0 in Japan.
Okay.
But Homecoming's the one that came out like right after the movie came out, and like a lot of people didn't like because it's basically like Silent Hill the movie, the game. Like Pyramid Head is in it, even though he has no reason to be in it, since it's not the same characters in the second game and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's basically like the boogeyman since the movie had Pyramid Head, and he's actually called the Boogeyman in the game.
Oh, that's pretty fucking stupid. I think they remade the first one on the Wii, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see.
It's like a reboot.
Another one. This might sound obvious, but I guess you told me you never played it. But the big twist in Resident Evil Code Veronica. Oh. And I don't know if I should mention it because you still need to play it because I think Resident Evil Code Veronica is great.
I'm pretty sure I heard it already, but I don't remember what it is.
About
I beat the first part where you play as Claire, and then as soon as you start playing as Chris, I had to stop.
About the siblings?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember.
So about them being the same person?
Yeah.
Okay, that tripped me the fuck out the first time I played it, and because he keeps throwing his voice.
Yeah.
Alexia and the guy. It blew me away. I thought that was really cool because honestly, there had never been. Well, I take it back. The original Resident Evil, the twist was Wesker.
Yeah.
Wesker was the twist. But other than that, there hadn't been any other twists like that in the series. Was there a twist? What was the twist in the second Resident Evil? I guess the fact that Sherry's dad.
Yeah, that was her dad.
I guess that was the twist, that her dad was the one. But that's not really a shocking twist to me. I mean, that girl's literally, she has to be there for some reason.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was really cool. That was a really cool twist. It was very Norman Batesy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It was very movie-like. And that one kind of blew me away. You really need to play that, man. I think Code Veronica, I still to this day don't know why they couldn't have called Code Veronica 4.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. Now I get it if it's if the game is sort of left to center, and or if it's not like chronological, giving it sort of a different subtitle. But this game took place after, like it literally did. It's after 2. It's after 3. Why couldn't that have been 4? I just don't know. But I mean, to me, it's in the canon. Like for me, it's always been Resident Evil 4, and it's the last game with the tank controllers. But I had it on the Dreamcast because it was an exclusive at first. I think it looks great. I think it's still got shitty tank controls, but the game looks good. It's very satisfying.
I always liked tank controls for some reason.
See, I never minded them. It's funny just because I was around when games went 3D.
Yeah.
And then at the start of, that whole 3D era, that's the way shit was. The controllers weren't all great. Games looked like shit. And so I think I just kind of like grew up with the tank controllers and evolved with them. And so like, honestly, it'd be hard for me to imagine playing the original Resident Evil without tank controllers.
Yeah. Did you know the original Resident Evil was like originally a first-person shooter? I think.
Are you talking about the Sweet Home? Or are you talking about that was the original concept?
The original, design
idea.
Yeah. You already knew that it was supposed to be a Sweet Home sequel or whatever.
Okay, it was supposed to be a direct Sweet Home sequel.
Yeah, when it first started.
I didn't realize that, man. I love Resident Evil, and this is kind of like Halloween. It's the only one to me that the original Resident Evil is the only one that's really horror to me. Yeah. Even Resident Evil 2, I love it. It's just more. It's more science fiction monsters. It doesn't. It's not really. I mean, the thrill and the suspense is there, but the first one, between the atmosphere that the mansion creates, is the only thing that's horror to me. I love the fixed camera angles.
Yeah, dude, you really need to play Resident Evil 0.
I played. I mean, like I watched my brother play it. I need to play it myself, but but it's been so long. It was like when it first came out, 12 years ago or something silly like that.
I wish it was coming out this month so I could play it for Halloween.
Yeah, I need to play it. But no, dude, I love the fixed camera angles. Even Resident Evil feels like a horror movie. It was supposed to be a horror movie type of thing because the way the fixed angles are, like you enter a room and the way you can't obviously you can't shift the angles.
Yeah.
It's pre-rendered backgrounds, but the angles are set up like a horror. Like you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're walking towards the camera and you don't know what the fuck's gonna be around that corner. And so yeah, I mean, I love that game, and I guess that twist is pretty classic. Just the whole Wesker thing. Mm-hmm. And there's one more. I don't know. I think I was probably going to say the original Silent Hill because I love that. At the same time, when I played Silent Hill for the first time, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, Resident Evil clone. Someone capitalizing on that. And then I actually played it, and I loved it. I think at the time when I played it, there was 3 Resident Evils out, and I was starting to grow a little burnt on Resident Evil at that point because Resident Evil 3 was out, which I liked, and they started coming out with like Survivor and the spin-offs.
Yeah, so Survivor was basically like an exercise in what the original Resident Evil would have been.
Oh, really?
It was the first person.
Yeah, so it would have sucked then?
Yeah, it did suck.
Oh, wow.
I remember like that game had this glitch where as long as you weren't looking at the enemy, it didn't hurt you. So if like hunters were gaining up on you, just look away from them and you'll be fine.
It's so stupid, man. But Silent Hill was a breath of fresh air because like, I don't know, they did something that Resident Evil kind of forgot about, and they created that atmosphere that the original Resident Evil had. Because the town, you had that, even though you were in an open space, kind of like Resident Evil 3, you're in an open space, you still felt claustrophobic because you had that fog everywhere.
Right, yeah.
And it was a heavy emphasis on the puzzles, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like it, but they were fucking hard as shit. They were hard puzzles.
Dude, the freaking, the piano puzzle. You remember that?
Oh, yes, I do. Dude, I fucking struggled on it. Dude, I would go to the grocery store and I would look at magazines. I would go to Tips and Tricks. I'd look for whatever guides I could find in GamePro, because I mean, this is back in the day when I didn't have internet, so we would just have a network. I'd have to like call friends that played the game, and
I remember I stopped playing the game because I couldn't figure that out, which is something they'd never do now. They're like afraid to put something that hard in a game.
They want people to keep playing the games and keep buying DLC. They want them to stay engaged with it. Well, on one hand, games are a lot bigger budgets these days, so I can kind of understand why. Mm-hmm. It's like, what, Metal Gear Solid 5 had like, what, a $50 million budget?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't want someone to get stuck and say, fuck this game. Mm-hmm. They want to, I mean, so I definitely understand it.
Like months later, a friend of mine, I was with a friend of mine, he was playing it. He's like, I know how to do it. So I got to finish the game because he showed me.
I don't know if this counts as a twist. And do you have one more? You like the Metal Gear Solid. Go and throw out Metal Gear Solid, and I have one more that I'm just going to throw out.
Oh, yeah. Like Metal Gear... Like, that's the only thing, though. All of those games have a bunch of plot twists towards the end. Like, I noticed, like, last time I was playing through them again, I noticed that in every game, it seems like there's at least one point where you find out that something you did, like the bad guys were basically manipulating you to do it. Like, because in the first one, with the card keys... Like you think you're shutting off the launch, but you actually start it up, and you find out that you find out that they didn't even have the means to start the launch, and that's why, they got you involved in the first place. And then
go ahead. That game's full of them, man. I was gonna say Colonel Campbell.
Yeah.
There's a million. That whole game is full of them. The first one, because McDonald Miller's really liquid. Mm-hmm. You're talking to McDonald the whole time, but really his body was found. Which I think it's fucking awesome, man. Like right from the get-go, McDonald Miller is this integral part of the story. Mm-hmm. Yet at the first game that most of us were introduced to the series, we never even see him. He's talking with somebody posing as him, and then we just find out he was found dead in his house. Like, okay, it's just so neat that later on in all these games we find out more about his character. But
yeah,
it's really neat to me.
He was in Metal Gear 2 for the MSX, but we didn't play it back then.
Yeah, of course. And then there was also Decoy Octopus portraying the DARPA chief.
Yep.
There's just all sorts. And like I said, the fucking android fucking colonel.
That's in part 2.
That's part 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Well, you're talking about when they lured him in there just to save his fucking daughter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, dude. Like, they're all full of these twist endings.
That's so funny. I love the robot.
Yeah, like that. Like towards the end where they keep calling you back and he keeps saying this crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. Yeah.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
Don't worry. It's a game. It's a game just like usual.
That's crazy, man. So those are actually really, really good. And like I said, they're so classic that I guess they don't stand out because the whole story is so sweeping. I get so swept up in those stories. But anyway, the only other thing that really comes to my mind right now, because these are kind of off the cuff episodes, I didn't really think about them too much, and I'm not sure that I wanted to. But the only thing I could think of is did you ever play Mortal Kombat 4?
No, I never beat that one.
God, there is one ending that is so shitty. It's so funny. And I can't tell you if it was Liu Kang's ending or if it was Tanya's ending, because they're both in the ending. And a lot of times in that game, like for example, if Liu Kang and Tanya are both in an ending, they're both gonna have the same ending with it altered a little bit depending on who won the game. But anyway, this ending, she's like, the voice acting, dude. Mortal Kombat 4 was like the end of an era. That was like the last game I can remember having the worst voice acting.
Yeah.
Then that same year we had Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And then it started kind of getting better and better. But man, okay, so it's got Liu Kang polygonal Liu Kang chasing after Tanya down a corridor. This way, Liu. Katana's this way. And he's just chasing her. And then he leads him into a room. And then it's Shinnok and Quan Chi. And he's like, what? What is this? And then she's like laughing. Ha 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 ha. Can't you see, Liu Kang? I don't know what Katana ever saw in you. This is a trap. It's so fucking stupid. And then he's like, huh. And then he does like, basically says something like, oh, well, I'll see about this. And he does this little Liu Kang fly kick at Shinnok. And he just shoots a fireball and he explodes. That's it. It's like, I don't know what Katana ever saw in you. Can't you see, Liu Kang? This is a trap.
Yeah.
It's so fucking lame.
They have all these different endings to come up with.
It's so stupid. I'm like, this is the guy that is like the savior of Earth? This fucking dude? Like, yeah, I'll follow you. I don't know. It's so stupid, man. But anyway, those are just a couple of mine, and I guess a couple of years. And
oh, dude, I remembered this before we started. Have you ever played a game called Countdown Vampires?
I remember the commercial, Countdown Vampires.
Dude, you ever see anybody play it or anything about it?
No.
You gotta play it. It's a total ripoff of Resident Evil. It's got everything Resident Evil has. like bad voice acting and like even the enemies. It says they're vampires, but they just look like zombies.
I just remember the commercial, and I remember having the shitty CGI in the commercials of like the cutscenes, and having that Transylvanian guy kind of narrating the commercial countdown vampires. I don't know. And there's one game I own, I can't remember for the life of me, that has a demo. That it was marketed as having a Countdown Vampires demo, and I have it, and I can't think which game it is. Which company made Countdown Vampires?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's somewhere. If I wanted to rifle through all my games, I could find which one it is. But no, I never played it. That would have been cool. But there's lots of games like that. I mean, the Parasite Eve games, as flawed as they are, they're cool with some cool story points. All kinds of cool stuff, and it's really a shame that we never got another sequel to that.
Yeah,
it never really transcended the next consoles and stuff, because I think
what'd you think of that newest one?
That it wasn't like a fucking mobile game or a PS Vita or something.
Wasn't there one on? It
PSP?
Wasn't called Parasite Eve though.
No, it
had on PlayStation 3.
I don't. Ooh, was there? I thought there was like
I don't remember.
There was like some sort of offshoot game that wasn't really seen as like a real Parasite Eve game. I just think if they could really do a game like that on the modern consoles, and it would go off really well, and they could make it really well, because at the time, I don't know, at the time it was kind of doing what they're kind of going towards now with role-playing games, where it's a little bit more action RPG.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where games have progressively gone. Personally, I think it would be cool. I mean, they could just give us a straight-up game with Ava or whatever running around. You can kind of more or less ditch a lot of the RPG elements, and it would be really cool still. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, those were a few of ours. Let us know what a few twists that you dug are. Obviously, go to btmreview.com. Hit us up on iTunes and all those crazy places. YouTube. We like the commentary. And if we forgot anything, and it's Halloween time, so feel free to shoot us comments and give us some ideas for some good Halloween things to cover. It's my favorite time of year. And like I said, check out btmreview.com and the other podcasts that we host. Go to YouTube and the site and check out the commentaries we've done. We've done some fantastic ones in the last couple of months here. And, next week we're going to record an Eli Roth podcast. Sort of on our central dedicated podcast. We're going to be talking about Knock Knock and Green Inferno, starring Ted, Bill and Ted. So that's just a plug for that one. But anyway, you guys have a great night. I'm Aaron.
I'm Zach.
See ya.